Vietnam, one of the countries that produces most of our clothing, footwear, agricultural goods, and electronic devices. Myanmar, the largest rice producer in all of Asia. Today, I will be comparing these two countries and find out which economic system ensures the best quality of life for its citizens. I chose these two countries to compare because both these countries are in a similar geographical location, but they both have different governmental systems and economic systems. Vietnam is a socialist republic and has a heavily government-controlled market with limited freedoms, while Myanmar is a constitutional republic and has a mixed market. Looking at their population, Vietnam has a significantly larger population, standing at 102 million, while Myanmar stands at 57 million. So one of the most crucial things in our life, and is a factor of determining the quality of the citizens' lives, is healthcare. Healthcare helps people when they are in need and are injured. Healthcare attempts to reduce the amount of suffering within the citizens, which is why it is crucial for people to have access to healthcare. In Vietnam, 87% of the population have access to healthcare, while Myanmar has 62% of the population who have access to healthcare. We can also speculate the quality of life in that country based on their tax rate. Theoretically, the more taxes they pay, the more funding that should be going into their communities. But this also depends on government spending. Now, this makes us take a look at Vietnam because they are a heavily government-controlled market with limited freedoms. The business and individual income tax in Myanmar is 35.55%, while in Vietnam it ranges from 20% to 35%. So I would say they are relatively similar. But taking a look at the population, this causes us to look at the ratio between the people and the income tax. This makes us realize that people in Myanmar are paying more taxes than the people in Vietnam. So Myanmar should be getting more funding into their communities or their healthcare, etc. Another factor that contributes to determining the quality of people's lives, and it also shows the economic status in that country, is the population of poverty in that country. Once again, the population in Vietnam is 102 million and the population in Myanmar is 57 million. Now, the population that is in poverty in Vietnam is 5.8%. This shows us that government spending is very efficient, while in Myanmar, is 24.8% of the population is in poverty. Now, economically evaluating the qualities of life, we can start by looking at how easy it is to start a business in that country. These two countries were scored based on how easy it is to start a business in that country. And the higher the score, the harder it was to start a business. Vietnam had a score of 70 and Myanmar had a score of 165, which is almost more than double. So we can see that even though the government gives limited freedoms in the market in Vietnam, it is still easy to start a business because they are quite loosened. And this gives the citizens the better quality of life economically because it gives people more opportunities to have a successful life. Now, it all comes down to how happy the citizens are in that country because that is the ultimate factor that decides the quality of their lives in that country. Vietnam stands at 94th in the world, while Myanmar stands at 131st in the world. This shows that even though the market is heavily government-controlled, with productive government spending, the citizens of that country could have a better quality of life economically and the quality of their living lives. Although a mixed market has less government control over the market, more opportunities for the people for a better quality of life, and also a better economic quality of life, it does not ensure a better quality of life. Because we can see in comparison with Myanmar and Vietnam, even though Vietnam was heavily controlled by the government, the statistic showed us that Vietnam still thrived economically and the people had a better quality of life. And the mixed market also puts more responsibility on their citizens, and that does not guarantee necessarily a better quality of life, and that also depends on what country it is. But in the case of Myanmar, it does not seem like that's the case. And with the transitioning of the power in the military, that could affect the mixed market, but we'll see what happens. Having an economic system like Vietnam would be a reasonable choice for a nation to make. This is because looking at Vietnam with the government-controlled market, their economy has been improving over time. And with productive government spending and correct funding, it can clearly boost the economy and help out the economy as well. We can see this in the results of the happiness rank for Vietnam in comparison to Myanmar, which is a mixed market. And Vietnam had more control over the poverty rate in their country rather than Myanmar. This also shows that with good government control, the market and the economy can be neutralized to a certain point. This brings me to a conclusion that the economic system that Vietnam has ensures a better quality of life for its citizens over the economic system that Myanmar has. Thank you for listening.